Why is it arcing? Oh, I can't aim.
Oh, yes you can.
I just killed Ryan.
Hello there, Frogman, better known as Ryan, and I think democracy has some flaws. Helldivers 2 is a game released on February 8th of 2024, developed by Arrowhead Games Studios. To put it simply, this game launched to massive critical acclaim to both critics and players alike, and to put it with a little more complexity, the release of the game had just the right set of circumstances to bring this game from a great experience to a phenomenon that captured the insane passion and attention of just about everybody. From the very get-go, the message and theme of this game is conveyed through a hammed-up propaganda video, presumably presented in-universe to the residents of Super Earth. A video that is so well made and impeccably acted, I cackle every time I watch it. It's just pitch perfect, similar to the training ground / tutorial to get you ready for combat. Anybody who's seen Starship Troopers might recognize and appreciate the insane intensity of the slapdash training required to become a Helldiver. From the general insisting on live rounds being used, replacing your irreplaceable Helldiver friends, to the hilariously violent combat injury simulator, which is a cute way just to say. Then to top it off, you graduate by receiving your completely superfluous cape and thus becoming a bona fide Helldiver. Superfluous? Are you questioning the methods of the Helldivers and by extension, the very righteous crusade by Super Earth to bring sweet liberty to all the cosmos? Are you? That again! Once you're done with the tutorial, you're given your very own destroyer, which you can name to suit your own personal crusade, and begin completing missions to expand and control territory in the galaxy. At the time of writing, there are two major factions that are being fought: the bug menace that really hammers home the Starship Troopers angle, called the Terminids, and the killer production line of deadly robots known as the Automatons. You pick a mission and land at any point on the map, and the objectives vary from mission to mission, tasking you with vanquishing bug nests, setting up artillery cannons, to arming and launching giant fuck-off missiles that turn the night into day. However, you're not going to waltz up to these points unchallenged, as you will certainly be met with groups of opposing forces, either in their spawning grounds or in patrol groups that call in reinforcements when alerted. To arm yourself, you have a selection of guns: rifles, shotguns, energy rifles, and submachine guns, and they're fine. They do their job well enough. Point the bad guy, click, bad guy dead. Yeah, they're really nothing to write home about and are good for killing the lesser enemies, but then you've got the heavier enemies to worry about.
Oh god, Ryan, that's worse. Ryan.
Fine. Oh, that is worse! Oh, fuck! This is where the stratagems come into play and steal the show from everything else. Opening up the menu and performing a quick Mortal Kombat fatality has your character pull out a beacon to either call in a special item or target a weapon with the capability to set fire to the sun. Woo!
Oh my god.
I got 33 kills with that.
Damn.
Needless to say, using these stratagems is instantly satisfactory, very cathartic, and the absolute cornerstone of how this game makes you feel so powerful and mighty at all points. You can unlock more stratagems and the buffs for them through this menu, provided you have enough samples to gain the... Oh my god, do we have enough currencies? Requisition slips for the stratagems, samples for upgrades, rare samples for more upgrades, only found on difficulty 4 and up, and then one more after that? And only on 7 and higher? I don't exactly play this game often, what with my real life job and crippling need for food and sleep. I often find myself hopelessly short of the sample requirements for these things. Others have no problems when they can do 4 to 5 missions a night, but when I get done with a grueling mission only to see that I got 12 of the 80 samples I need, oof, man, I just want to make my boom booms and feel special. Plus, how can you not feel like God's gift to democracy when you've got high-yield missiles at your very beck and call? With weapons like this, there's literally nothing that can go wrong. Get on! Fuck! Oh my god, please allow me in. I have 7 samples.
I have...
Now you have no sound.
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, especially at lower difficulties, the greatest threat to your health are not the onslaught of enemies, but the people you're foolish enough to call your allies. There's no shield for friendly fire, and that's just how I like it. From classic cases of wrong place, wrong time, misjudging the radius of your new toy, or the very weapons you call upon containing absolutely no concept of trigger discipline, more often than not, you'll be perishing to other Helldivers. But given the situation, you'll be laughing off a lot of those because it'll happen in rather wild ways that plays like a slapstick comedy. And with the copious amounts of lives you're given, death is hardly ever an issue.
Sorry, worthy for the cause.
I feel so worthy.
It's a lot of explosions, guys.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh!
Yeah, I think I got him.
You got him. Aside from that, let's act like a stereotypical therapist and talk about how it feels to play this game. From a moment-to-moment standpoint, it's great to run around and gun down enemies. Having the true aim point lag slightly behind your crosshair is a great way to simulate weapon sway while also allowing quick movements. Pressing the middle mouse button puts the game into first person whenever aiming if you so desire. I personally feel it's a little jarring to do this, but to each their own, it's easy to switch between the two. And I'll always appreciate any game that has a one-button dive into danger action because it's great for evasive maneuvers and general tomfoolery. On a more macro scale, the actions you take in defeating enemy factions have a real-time effect on territory and events in the game's lore and history. This is where that insane passion I mentioned earlier comes into play, as anybody who even remotely watched this game during its first few months knows of the horrors of Malevelon Creek and the means it took to liberate the worlds held by the automatons. It captured the player base so much they've commemorated April 3rd as Malevelon Creek Memorial Day, marked in-game through historical text and commemorative capes for all Helldivers to wear. I don't care who you are, that shit's cool as hell. This game certainly has an impressive beat on the player base, helped largely due to the presence of a game master that influences events and propels the in-game stories forward. I'm of two minds about this. On one hand, I think the implementation thus far has been excellent, allowing players to access new stratagems to whet the appetite of underleveled players, and controlling the forces of the opposing factions to deal severe blows to the players makes the overall environment feel alive and reactionary to the player base's actions. However, on the other side, I feel the creation of this game master, dubbed this point as Joel, could at best be a scapegoat for decisions made that don't fit well with the player base, and at worst could embolden the devs to put forth really damaging updates that could erase player progress and shake the goodwill of players. However, at this point, it's pretty hard to imagine what could possibly be done to make the players turn against the game, but that's exactly what's so deadly about a honeymoon phase. Currently, there's something akin to a battle pass system called war bonds. Basically, you can spend premium currency to unlock premium war bonds and use the medals to progress through them, earning cosmetics, new emotes, and new weapons for your primary and secondary. As it currently stands, people are very content with this as the currency needed to unlock them can be easily earned in-game via normal methods. The cracks begin with a current strategy of gaming the system by loading into a game, scouting the desired items, quitting to desktop, and then loading into the same map. Since you don't lose the currency upon quitting, you can repeat this process until you have as much super credits or medals you could ask for. Harmless by itself until you consider what needs to be done to combat this exploit. Do costs rise in reaction to it? That wouldn't be fair for people playing normally. Do you force players to lose what was gained upon disconnection? Remember that every time you've been DC'd for no reason. Or how about dropping the premium currency altogether? Well, I'm sure that wouldn't sit well with the audience who are praising this game for the ability to earn these credits through gameplay. My point is, even if the balance is pretty fair and fun for most players right now, there could very well be a point where the developers need to draw a line to ensure this live service model is bringing in enough to sustain themselves. I suppose that's the great pitfall that is a live service experience. All the creative ideas and impeccable world building means absolutely nothing in the face of constantly keeping players online and hoping that people keep buying stuff after they've bought the game. For now though, I should probably calm down, considering it's still an amazing experience that I can't think of anything that could sully it. Oh, what the fuck? So as it turns out, Helldivers 2 at one point was supposed to require a PSN account to play the game. This got temporarily disabled to help with server stability at launch. And come May 20th, Sony wanted to start enforcing this requirement, barring players who either won't get an account or can't get one. If a player happened to live in a country that didn't allow the creation of a PSN account, like these ones here, they were essentially SOL on May 20th. Not to mention, players had gripes about sending their personal data to PlayStation, it being one of the more frequently breached databases around. There was genuine turmoil and outcry from every corner of the player base, tanking the Steam reviews and many players seeking refunds for the game. As of right now, Sony has said that they are reevaluating the requirement. Personally, I'm not exactly ready to say the issue has been fully resolved, considering they're still banning access to players who are PSN locked. To me, it raises the topic of the sad state of game ownership, where our access to the promised product lies at the end of an end user's license agreement that nobody reads. And that access is granted or taken away based on the whims and financial strength of that company. Think about how many games you play where you're required to have an internet connection to play. I realized one night that my Stardew Valley saves were stored on the Steam cloud, and I felt a gross pit in my stomach knowing that if I tried to play offline, I might lose all the progress I had gained thus far. And I don't want to do that. I've got more sentient apples to subjugate. The long and short of it is, the more games relying on live servers and internet connections, players have less means to truly own the games we buy, meaning we are truly living in the reality of no video games, and we don't even have unlimited bacon either. There's a great campaign going around simply titled Stop Killing Games that can give you steps on how to take action against companies destroying the functionality of the games they put out. Absolutely check out the website to learn more and take action yourself, because it's important to know just exactly what's happening when you see the headlines of games shutting down. And remember, you definitely have more of a voice than you think.
Overall, Helldivers 2 is nothing short of an expertly crafted experience that makes the player feel insanely powerful and mighty at the right times. Its difficulty on higher levels reaches some insanely high standards that puts the mettle of everyone to the test, and I for one am too much of a to try them. So far, Arrowhead Studios has done well to keep the interest of the community and making players feel rewarded for their efforts. And in-production update. Since writing this across the span of 2 weeks, a pocket of players have become dissatisfied with the weapon nerfs and major orders being unfeasible due to lower player numbers. Whether that be from natural decay or boycotting of the game is up to interpretation. I just wanted to address this because it's no longer a broad sweep of everybody liking their decisions now. And I still think this game is fantastic, and I can confidently say, and I hope to high heavens that whatever happens going forward, something doesn't happen to ruin this game. It's clearly a passion project filled to the brim with love and would be the darkest stain on the medium itself to have it be undone for these silly reasons. In fact, the whole thing has left such a sour taste in my mouth that I am boycotting everything related to Sony. You won't find a PlayStation or anything with Sony branding in this household, no sir! Oh. Hello there, Frogman, better known as Ryan. Have you ever heard of the Simple Flicks Slick camera? It's because it's shit!